Today on Ask Miyazaki, we talk about the effectiveness of social media advertising campaigns, how social media ads are changing, and is social media taking over our lives? Ariana asks, is social media taking over? Are parents paying more attention to their phones than their family? Were you saying something? Just kidding. Ariana, the simple answer is yes. There are a great many people out there who are spending far too much time on their phones instead of actually living their lives. This takes the form of scrolling through posts on their social media accounts, reading and writing texts, and even playing mobile video games. And this group of people includes parents who have kids who could use much of that ill-placed attention. Whether they're at home or at the park or eating at a restaurant, I get worried sometimes that real human interaction time is on a decline for children and teens. And there's no way that that can be healthy mentally and or emotionally. There are a few potential remedies to this, though. First, set aside no phone times and events. Years ago in our family, we implemented a no phone at the table policy, and it did wonders for conversation and family togetherness. Deciding on no phones 15 or 30 minutes before sleeping is another good rule to follow. The second remedy is to set timers on your phone to help avoid being caught up in games, social media, etc. I have a 20-minute time limit set on my phone for YouTube. If I get to that limit in one setting, my phone stops the video and gives me a reminder about my limit so I can get back to some other aspect of my life. And the third remedy is to actively seek non-phone activities, especially with family members. When the kids leave home, I don't think any parents will ever regret spending all that time with the kids, but they're much more likely to regret ignoring the kids by spending far too much time on the phone. Charlie asks, how do you think social media ads will change over the years? Meaning, do you think there may be smells or 3D images coming out of our TVs? If most of the social media posts and messages were rosy and fresh and warm like apple pie, or cool like a nice tres leches, then I'd be excited to open new tweets or Instagram posts and enjoy the aroma of sweetly fragrant communication. But considering that many, if not most, social media posts are kind of crappy, well, that's not the kind of thing I want to smell. But let's move on to the first part of your question. Do I think that social media ads will be changing as we move forward? Absolutely. They're already changing now. There are a lot of advertisers that are doing their best to avoid social media advertising that actually looks like advertising. Shaky cameras, simplistic audio, and seemingly real-life spokespeople help ads look like just regular non-ad communications. Eventually, with automated CGI, you'll probably have friends that will sell out their own images, voice prints, and personas so that the ad spokesperson is someone extremely familiar to you. In a few years, who knows? The ads you receive may come from your best friend or even your parents. Maybe not your parents. As advertisers become more clever, though, it might be harder and harder to initially recognize an ad for what it is. Even with Federal Trade Commission coming down on influencers like it has with its guidelines for influencer disclosure. My concern with this is that when advertisers start pushing the limits too far, then the FTC starts to ramp up its regulations. And typically, more regulation is not good. Laura asks, how effective are social media advertising campaigns? Any question regarding effectiveness is a quantitative question that can be answered by having the right analytics. However, the key performance indicators that are chosen to signify effective marketing should be the result of subjective choices made by your organizational leaders. Unfortunately, many organizations allow their marketing teams, especially in the digital arena, to select their own key performance indicators, which means that marketing efforts may appear to be effective when they're really not. It all depends on the overall goals of the organization and how marketing is supposed to help achieve those goals. For example, if your company uses social media advertising to generate leads that will hopefully end up as sales, then focusing on likes or comments or even views are probably not the appropriate metrics. Or let's say that you're using social media advertising to build brand familiarity via impressions, but you're using cost per click ads and you have some misplaced drive or passion or yearning on monitoring and raising click-through rates. If the impressions are what matter, then the truth is that lower click-through rates, not higher ones, will actually give you more impressions for the money spent. Misguided metrics can mask the effectiveness of a campaign as well as make a mediocre campaign seem more effective than it actually is. So, the answer to your question as to how effective are social media advertising campaigns is dependent on what metrics are the right ones for measuring effectiveness for your organization's goals and your campaign goals. And I'm warning you that many times the wrong metrics are selected. Overall, have I seen social media advertising campaigns be successful? Absolutely. And not just for brand image and brand familiarity or that elusive pseudo metric of community building. My teams have used social media advertising to drive the leads that produce real revenue. So anyone who says that social media cannot have a clear monetary return on investment doesn't know how to use social for revenue generation. All right, that's it for today. Thank you very much for the questions. I always appreciate them. If you have a question about digital marketing, personal branding, social media, marketing communications, marketing analytics, or anything related, tweet it using the hashtag AskMiyazaki. If you have not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified of future installments of Ask Miyazaki, Monday's Marketing Minute, or whatever else comes our way. And have a great day.